So we have a leaking radiator and that feels wet. I'm wearing gloves though, so how would I know that? Blue roll, that's how I know. So if you ever have a leaking radiator, get some blue roll and just wipe it around the area you think's leaking. I mean, we know it's leaking because it's leaking there. We can see that, that's wet, and it's all wet under here. So, a bit of a clean. So what we're going to do is have a look at this here. So the first thing we need to do is turn it off, which is what we've already done. And I'm going to put my handy little plumb tub underneath and make sure that's clipped on. I've got my handy little folding bucket just in case, spare, and the next thing we're going to do is turn this valve off here. I'm going to put my spanner on it like so, move it around and make sure that it is off, in the off position. And I just noticed, I think it's also leaking there, is it? Or is that being sorted? But we'll check that again in a minute. My main concern is this leak here. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo the nut, and if we get the right size we'll be on a bonus. There we go. Now that did not feel tight. Oh, we can see the rust here. So just going to loosen that, and then I'm going to use a bleeding key and pop it in there. Pop the bleeding key in there and drain the radiator off. So I have my bleeding key here. I'm going to put it up there. I'm just going to tilt the camera. Well, I'm not going to tilt it, I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to release the valve, and you should hear it. There we go. Now, anything else, we're going to take this out, we're going to have a check, and then we're going to put it all back together. So we're going to let this drain off. Closer there, because as you can see, I think this is what, hang on, how many litres does it hold? It's not much, but it's enough. As you can see, the water goes straight in it. It's brilliant. So we're going to turn this off. Out. See, it's starting to slow down a bit, so I'm just going to put the nut back on for now, and then carefully remove this, and then pour that into the handy folding bucket. So once you're satisfied you've got all your water out, it's still a little bit dribbling out there. You just clean up the area. If you can, just check inside there, make sure nothing was causing it to, you know, a bit of muck or anything that might cause it leaking. So these, generally speaking, are self-sealing, so when this mates with that and the screw is tightened, the nut is tightened, it should self-seal. Now, a couple of ways of sorting this out. One, you could wrap a load of PTFE around it, but I think it might have just not been on right. So we're just going to clean it up a bit. Still waiting for some of the water to come out. It's like I said, you could put some PTFE around it, which we might do that now. Just going to find a bit. I'm going to take the gloves off with this because it's a bit fiddly. So I've got a piece of PTFE here now, and I'm going to wrap it just in front of the tail there. This just gives it an extra piece of sealant. And this isn't easy because it's on. And it doesn't matter if it does that, because that's what you want it to do. Just helps the olive seal up a little bit there, making sure they haven't blocked off the. Also, just put a finger in. There we go. Hey, you probably can't quite see this. Let's move the camera so you can see what I've done there. So inside there, this is the olive that mates with the female side of the valve, and that's what compresses against that to form the seal. So just put that PTFE there, and not only that, but we can also do this as well. Some virgin white thread paste. Just going to blob a bit on like that, just to make sure. Don't need a lot. I'm just going to wipe it in with my finger, and that'll go on the thread as well. And then I'm going to pop it all back together. And tighten the nut up. So it's nice and tight. There we go. I think that's tightened up quite nicely. There we go. And then wipe it down with some blue roll. So this is the good thing about blue roll, is if you have a leak anywhere on your pipework, you can just dab it against the pipe, and the blue roll darkens in colour, so it's light blue now. But if you look, if I plop a bit in there where it's wet, see, it goes a lot darker, doesn't it? So you can just do this around the joint and wipe your hands across it, and that'll tell you if there's a leak or not. So the next thing you need to do is top up the pressure in the boiler, because it'll have probably gone down. Another thing you can do is put an inhibitor in as well if you want, but this boiler is due a service anyway, so what you would do there is use one of these and basically take the cap off there, or the bleeding valve there. You take the actual valve out, screw that in and put your inhibitor inside the radiator, and it will solve the system. But again, this needs servicing anyway, so it's probably going to get drained off anyway at some point. We're going to top up the pressure now. Hopefully that'll sort that out. See, you can see the boiler flashing. There's no pressure in it at the moment. Now, one of the taps here is missing off the valve, so I've opened that with these already. Just show you there, so that's in the open position, and we're just going to let that go in now, and hopefully that will go up shortly. I mean, we've only got one radiator to there, you see the needle going up. So I'm going to let it go up to about 1.5 first, and then we're going to bleed the radiator, get some water in the radiator. So we're now back at the radiator. Leave this valve shut and just open this one, and you can immediately hear the water going back in. Now you can feel the air being forced out, so what I'm going to do is just shut this off for a minute and then check this, because you want the pressure to build up a little bit and make sure that this isn't leaking. So we're going to just do the blue roll test, and so far so good. We're going to bleed the radiator the rest of the way. So you may need to put some more pressure in the boiler, but there you go, that's how you fix your leaking joints on your radiator. You might have to replace the valve, in which case you'd need to undo it there, but you'd have to bleed the whole system down or drain the whole system down to do that. But if you're just removing one radiator and you need to fix something around the tail or anything, then all you need to do is do what I do and follow the steps, and you won't go far wrong. Plug tubs are available, they're not very expensive, and the handy folding buckets aren't very expensive either, but they're really handy for doing jobs like this. So like I said, there are other things available. You can buy one of these as well if you want to do your own inhibitor as well, and all you need to do is top the radiator up with the inhibitor. But we're not doing that today because obviously it's going to be serviced the boiler anyway. So anyway, that looks good now. I'm going to finish off now and get the system balanced up, and it doesn't look to be leaking now, so we're going to leave that there for today. And we hope you enjoyed the video, hope you got something out of it today, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.